Have you ever been hyped about a game? You've been waiting for almost a year for its release. You pre order on Amazon or something. You watch some videos from your favorite YouTuber. Then it finally arrives on release day at your door, waiting for you when you get home from work by some work of modern magic. And you plop that thing in, maybe download the game from the internet because the game isn't actually on the disc for some reason. Why are we doing that? But anyway, then within 30 to 45 minutes, you're powering off the console because you're bored, yawning, already thinking of a different game to play. Yeah. Hello. I've been there too. Maybe you'll enjoy some of this brainstorming of sorts here if this sounds like something that happened to you. This video obviously isn't going to be for everyone because I'm sure a lot of people are just fine with where they are and their relationship with the games that they're playing. But maybe you're someone feeling how I did before I started this channel, really, and a little bit while the channel was starting, and where gaming kind of became less of a very intentional hobby and more of a going through the phases, going through the motions, station of the day to pass the time or maybe even numb the pain. See, firstly, as you get older, your relationship with gaming changes. Hello, time management. You start out, maybe you have to balance a job with your hobbies. Then down the line, maybe house chores and maintenance. And maybe even a family on top of all that. Pets, etc. You get it. You're not dumb. You get older, you take on responsibilities. And the fun time goes down unless you start spiraling and start letting your gaming creep into your sleep time or outdoor time. And I do not recommend that. Tried that a little bit when I started streaming on the channel. Staying up till 1 or 2 some nights because I had a good viewer count, which is like 30 for me. And yeah, I was wrecked at work. Take care of yourself. And, for what? Like, it's not like, obviously, it didn't turn into long-term realized channel growth. So take care of yourself. Number one, the old cliche when you're trying for success. Well, the successful man, when they lose their health, they'll trade their success for health. Yeah, you've heard it. Take care of yourself. But anyway, I found it a lot easier to get into games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Hearthstone, Apex Legends, Destiny 2, that being. I didn't play Destiny 1, really. And even RuneScape, the old school variety. Don't get me wrong, I still do love that game. It is like one of the only very much time capsule-y games that takes me back to a simpler time, the good old days. Makes just pure nostalgia for me. But, gotta be honest, I wasn't playing the game for the game, kind of. It was more of like a second monitor, and I would have to be doing something else, watching YouTube, like just multitasking, basically, because my dopamine-fried brain couldn't handle just watching a mithril axe ticking against a willow tree, for instance. I'm just cooked by that little pocket casino I always have with me, I guess. The point is, I gravitated towards games that could be played essentially in 10 to 30 minute increments or matches or what have you. It makes sense to an extent, but I think there was something deeper going on there as well. It's multifaceted. Not only was I easier to hop in and out when I got the free time with games like these, but I also think the short commitment time was appealing to my previously mentioned dopamine-fried brain. I mean, a couple of years ago, I just wasn't playing any 15 to 30-hour campaigns, maybe one per year at best. I mean, come on. You want my doom scroll brain to focus on one thing for that long? Yikes. And it's actually doom scrolling that made me kind of think of this video topic. I have alluded previously to putting the phone down more to increase gaming enjoyment, but I've been thinking about how many people might just be watching short-form content over long-form videos, whether or not that's scripted or just freeballing it, or a combination of the two like this video is. Like, I see some really good people making videos on YouTube, and videos that I enjoy where you can tell they're not like trying to trick my brain into staying on with like 2-second cuts and all that stuff. Obviously a little bit, B-roll is fine, but you know what I'm talking about when it's just like camera shift, bam, 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 zoom in, zoom out. Like, I really appreciate when I see that guy just sitting there by his garage trying to bestow some knowledge on you from his terrible day at work or something like that. It's just relatable and feels more real. And that's the part that I kind of want to get at with this, I guess, is the realness. I was playing all those games for years, even though it wasn't really what I wanted to be playing. I was just choosing the easier thing, kind of, which most of the time isn't what you truly want, I feel. At the end of the day, the easy thing isn't what I look back on and, I'm happy I did. I'm much happier tonight at 9:10 p.m. recording this video that I went for a jog today, for instance, rather than doing the easy thing and just eating a heaping pile of fruity pebbles and watching the Red Sox game. Although that actually does sound pretty good. I feel a lot better with gaming now, doing it less and beating more games because I'm gaming with intention. For instance, the stream keeps me locked in on a story game over a longer period of time. Various video goals that I have set for myself, for including some of the Halloweenish games that I want to review for the channel. I didn't get anything from coming in fifth place 4 times in a row from a Warzone sitting. If anything, I just got pissed off. Multiply that over 20 or 30 days in a row, and what was I doing? I really didn't accomplish anything. It just felt like work sometimes. Like, the idea in my mind was still what I had as a kid, but I'd sit down and play those games I mentioned, or a new RPG even, that I thought I was going to love, and I just didn't get any real gratification from it. I was cooked, as the kids say. So A, I was playing games that I didn't want to be playing, and B, the games that I wanted to play, I just felt too exhausted and too busy brained to be able to sit down with. So that's why I said, just turn everything off if you have to. I did this at the beginning. It's literally like you're coming off a drug, kind of. And I just had to take all that stuff off my phone personally. And then I also, when I am playing a game to review for the channel, I just have my phone away from me. Try and just do that for like an hour and a half and get that's how I have to play games now, is in like chunks. I don't really get enough time to sit down and play for, 3 to 4 hours anymore. The longest I get to play a game is when I stream, which is usually like 2.5 hours. Life with a family and a job with a commute, just it is what it is. It's not a situation unique to me. But I seriously, obviously think there's a lot going on for why I think this happened, including watching big Twitch streamers and, being on Twitter with all the gaming news and pushing the new stuff. Like, in gaming, there's a lot of, because, the technology is always being pushed to new levels, I feel like more than other media, like a movie or a book, there's, more of a want and desire to consume the newest games, just because, better looking, you can have more on the screen, but more action, all those things. They don't necessarily make a good game, but there is this need to want to see where gaming is today, because you can just do more with the game if you want to. But I think the reason I always go to the phone is the biggest source of a lot of those outlets that cause the problem. So by limiting the phone, you can, quiet a lot of those sources and kind of focus on what you want to be doing more. Because it's just human nature. We always are doing stuff that is easier and we know is not good for us. And then we know it's not I shouldn't say not good for us in this instance, but what we actually don't want to do. But yeah, I really enjoy just no more battle passes in COD to level up, ranks to climb, daily tasks to complete. I just like beating a game. We're doing Pokemon Blue right now and Medieval on stream. They're just the game. Just play them. I don't know why I got away from it. In the moment, it's just like, what are you doing, man? But, you look back and it is what it is, Best way I can put it is I felt it felt more like I had to be there for those games than gaming was there for me when I wanted it. Does that make sense to you? So for me to play some of these longer games in my free time when I didn't want to, for instance, the way I had to challenge myself is kind of like how I got back into reading, is I would just literally be like, you gotta just read 30 minutes a day. And Champions of Norath, it's crazy that gaming is like this, but that's how bad my head was, I guess. I was like, just sit down with Champions of Norath or Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Well, Gauntlet Dark Legacy is an outlier because There's something about that game I can just that one wasn't hard at all for me to sit down with, but Crash Twinsanity, which is a short game, but I still was just like sit down for an hour and put an hour in uninterrupted. Don't look at your phone, just focus on the game. And that's what I had to do. I just had to force myself to kind of break the phone addiction and the FOMO feeling when you play those games for so long. It just feels like you're falling behind or something. Like, no, you're not behind. Play games for you. Make them be there for you. Don't worry about anything else, what other people are doing. Basically, I guess what I'm saying is if you're feeling like you can't get in the groove to devote your time to a game, maybe just literally treat it like breaking a bad habit and forcing yourself into the game that you want to play. And if it takes a month to beat the game, it takes a month. You know, that's more games beaten than if you would have just grinded for Apex for a season. They get Platinum 1 and then it just resets and you start over and it's like you didn't get anything. You get, what, like a weapon charm or something? I don't know. Like I said, if those games are your jam, you're good. You're good for you. But I wasn't happy and I was still doing it. So this is for people who are stuck in this weird gaming funk and need to get back to what they lost. Who else is feeling like that? I hope you're having a good week. Look for my Pumpkin Jack review, hopefully within the week. Medieval stream and Pokemon Crystal Shiny Hunting Totodile streams continuing this week. And yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble about pretty much nothing for a couple of minutes here. And I hope you have a good rest of your week. Peace.